Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Beyond the South Stand with me, Jez Davies. I am joined with a different co-host tonight, Mr. Killian O'Grady. How are you, sir?
Good to meet you, Jazz, this evening. Yes, before I head to the skies again in the morning for
What's,
West Brom.
what time's your flight?
6:30.
It's a nice early one then. So you have a bit of time to mull around in the city beforehand and get yourself
Absolutely. Yeah,
acquainted to the fine city of Norwich.
exactly. Yeah, spend a bit of time there tomorrow. Looking forward to it.
And Morgan sends his apologies for this evening because he can't make it, and we try as we might. We actually didn't find a West Brom fan either, so we just thought we'd come on and discuss the game ahead of tomorrow. And this will go out actually within 2 or 3 minutes after us finishing our chat now. So the quickest turnaround for an episode. Yeah. Perhaps we can just start though, just by sort of rewinding Saturday and talking about Stoke. I must admit, I went to go and watch Hitchin on Town on Saturday, so I didn't really sort of tune into the game. I mean, how was it? I mean, for you, what was your sort of takeaway from that game?
Yeah, I mean, we were very much outplayed, I think, for a lot of the game.
Yeah.
You have to hand it to the team. Like they show a lot of resilience. I know we've faced a lot of shots. There was a lot of corners in the game, but certainly our set play is vastly improved.
Yeah.
Vlad did save us again a couple of times, but the players were up for it. But just as something not quite right with it clicking. I was chatting briefly to Mark Robbins before the game
Yeah.
because saw the Stoke players arriving, and I was very tempted to remind him that he'd never beaten Norwich, but I thought that might be just tempting fate. But hindsight, I probably should have. I'm sure it's really messing with his head at this stage.
Must be. It must be. I mean, that's it's quite a record, isn't it? I think was it 13 or 14 games, isn't it, where he hasn't beaten a Norwich side. So yeah, I mean, as an ex-player of ours, he might be perhaps he's doing us a little bit of a favour, but we'll see. And so obviously you've already mentioned Vlad, and he was the games I've seen him recently. He's been absolutely phenomenal. So again, he was a key player for us again, was he?
I mean, he's a phenomenal shot stopper. You need your nerves about you at the same time with him. Like he does play the ball out at the back sometimes, and you're going, my God, if a striker was a little bit faster, they might block it out.
Yeah.
So at some point this season, I think we'll have a bit of a catastrophe there. But he's a world class shot stopper. And you can see how that helps the defense and inspires them. They know they've got a solid player behind them, which I think is quite important.
Yeah, and I think the blossoming, if I can actually speak tonight, partnership between Medic and Darling as well, directly in front of him, must be good to see as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Darling's been phenomenal all season. I think Medic had a pretty decent game this time.
Good.
As I've said before, a little bit slow, but he's solid. He's a big lad, and I'll tell you who was very impressive was Makama. He looked really, really good. For a big lad, he's got great ball control. He's not afraid to push himself about. And I think he's definitely a future star for us.
What did we spend on him from Lincoln? It wasn't much, was it? And it looks like we got a bit of a bargain there.
I think it was around $1 million or thereabouts, maybe slightly. I think they were a bit coy with the numbers, but I think we're asked, was it over $1 million? I think they might have confirmed it was, but less than 2 million. So who knows? But whatever it is, I mean, he's got his scoring boots on. It's 2 goals in 2 games. He looks the part. So
yeah, no, it's good.
I do think now again we didn't make a lot of it, but I think it helped Ante Cernac when he came on. Obviously, he was fired up.
Yeah,
and he looked pretty solid as well. So I think we're building quite a strong attacking unit there.
I think as well, Killian. I think it's you've raised quite a valid point there, because I think a bit of friendly competition as well for places in this squad. We'll go on to talk about some of the injuries that we've picked up later on in the podcast, but a little bit of friendly competition around those starting berths for particularly someone like Shinach, that perhaps he hasn't perhaps had the start of the season that he wanted. Someone like Makama coming in and scoring 2 goals, that's probably going to give him a bit of a boost, right?
Yeah, and I thought, for example, I thought Kellen Fisher was superb. Like he just went for everything. I know he's a small lad, but he's tough.
Yeah.
and he was really he's out of position as a left back, but like he's really grown into that role.
Mm-hmm.
I think we looked pretty solid at the back for most of the game, even though they really threw everything at us.
Yeah, yeah. I think Sorba Thomas was a player that I saw play for Wales a few times over the summer. Thought, wow, he's a player, you know, and he was obviously Stoke scorer. I was really surprised he went there actually.
Yeah, no, he scored. I mean, there was no really stopping that goal.
Mm.
It was a good shot, certainly. That wasn't left with any chance.
Mm.
And again, unfortunate that it happened so soon after the halftime break.
Yeah,
Given what had happened with Wrexham the previous week. So, but this time obviously we held out. It wasn't pretty in the second half, but there was a lot of grit shown there, and I feel for the home fans who don't travel because what they've seen this season has been terrible.
Yeah,
the away fans, and I know some of the performances may not have been sparkling, but we've seen immense grit from the team in every match away, and I've been to all the away games, and I think it's a credit to the team that it's 8 points, but they've really, I mean, they've been lucky maybe against Coventry and against Stoke, but I think they've really put their heart into it.
Yeah, I mean, what we'll be 3 or 4 minutes away from winning at Coventry, weren't we? That would have been a phenomenal result, really, wouldn't it?
And again, that would have been probably undeserved based on how Coventry played. But, you know, it's we obviously, I think there's some work to be done around the midfield area to
for sure,
coming onto us with the intensity that they are.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But our defence has done well, I think, given the pressure they faced.
Yeah, 100%. So obviously we had the press conference yesterday, Monday, wasn't it? Yesterday, yeah. What were your? Did you hear the press conference? And you know, is there sort of, the question, the roundabout question? It's taken me a long time to answer. Is injuries? Whether we seem to be plagued with injuries the last few weeks. Was there any more that were mentioned in that podcast, in that press conference? Sorry.
I mean, it was interesting. Stalemate was mentioned, and again, obviously, sort of off people's radars because he hasn't really played, and yet he is getting injured, and then Duffy's obviously out injured as well, and he hasn't played. So there's obviously something going on in training, whatever that. And it sounded like Stamate's injury is pretty serious. That he could be out for quite a bit of time.
Wasn't it? Is it a quad injury?
Quad injury, yeah. So, you know, we're not having much luck with injuries. There's no question about that. It does look like Lucien was warming up before the game in Stoke.
Right.
Good to see him running now. They did put him through his paces, and he did look quite jaded after it. So obviously it'll take him a bit of time to get match fitness, but it looks like he's physically fit, and obviously over the injury, which is good to see. I'm not sure at what stage. I don't think he'll start tomorrow, but he might get some minutes.
Good, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? You mentioned Kellen Fisher earlier, and I think, does it look imbalanced having a right-footed left back? I mean, he does a good job there, and he does a good job wherever he plays. But when Mahove does come back in, do you see it being Fisher or Stacey on the other side?
It's really hard to tell. I mean, because Stacey obviously has played well for us. I think one of the interesting things is I noticed this time that Kellen did hit the ball a couple of times with his left foot, so he's obviously been adjusting to playing left back a bit, and obviously he's beginning to take more throw-ins as well. So, you know, he's useful in that space. So I wouldn't rule him out there. It's hard to pick between himself and Stacey. To be honest, they bring something different to the team.
Yeah.
And I think it's good for Liam to have that sort of option to play to adjust to different teams. I was glad to see them not persisting with this 3 at the back. Now, whether he ever reverts back to it or not, it just doesn't seem to suit us.
No.
So having the 4, and it may have been tempting to go with 3 at the back, given that we no natural left back available and fit. Kenny could slot in there as well, but doesn't look like Jacob Wright has managed to play his way back into the team yet. So
that'll be one for tomorrow, I think, because I think we'll need him. He's Jacob Wright's, you know, was unfortunate, I think, in that game to get sent off. It was a silly tackle, but you know, hopefully he's learned his lesson. I don't want to use that turn of phrase, but learn his lesson, and he'll come back in tomorrow. And he's very creative, isn't he?
He is,
We need someone that's going to knock that door.
I think it's obviously given Maatsen the chance to
Yeah,
start.
true.
He looks pretty decent, and
Mm.
Topic, the first games he didn't start in, and again when he came on, like we know what he can do. So like we've got the makings of a strong midfield. Haven't quite clicked, I think, yet, and I think the injuries to Forsum and now Diallo certainly hasn't helped. I was a little bit surprised not to see Jurassic the other day. Supposedly fit, but he might have just spread the play a little bit. I think we were getting hammered at one stage, and maybe having that bit of pace and trickery might have eased some of the pressure on us. But obviously, I'm not the team manager, so
no. And talking about the manager, obviously Liam Manning. Do you like the sound of what he says in the press conferences and pre and post matches as well? Do you like what he comes out and says?
I mean, I like his honesty. He is fairly consistent. Now, some people might construe that as a little bit boring, uninspiring, but I think he's been consistent with his message. He's hasn't got overly excited or overly upset either, which I think is important.
Yeah,
I think it gives the players that little bit of balance. I mean, there was chance for him to sort it out at the Stoke match, and chance for him to be gotten rid of. I mean, I don't know. We can't keep changing managers, so we've got to give the guy a chance. And it is a monumental task given the amount of new players we brought in, new coaches, new style. So I think it's we just got to be a little bit patient with him. I do feel for him at the home side, though, with the home experience, like to have 0 points. The fans of Carrow Road will turn on him pretty quick. I think the next 2 matches are pretty critical for him. Obviously, the home tomorrow and then away on Sunday. So,
yeah, I think I'm 100% agree with you. I don't know if I would have said the same after the Wrexham game. I was pretty annoyed, if I'm being honest, and that's not like me. I'm, from a personal level, I'm quite as you probably gathered, I'm quite a sort of a measured and calm character. I like to think I am, but I was not happy then, and I was thinking, for me this isn't working. But I think you're right. I think thinking about it now, we do change. There is not the argument as such, but there is the thought that if we keep changing the manager, it's just not going to get us anywhere. It's going to cost us money. So
exactly. We just be another Watford, I think. If we keep
exactly. And in this stage of the season, I don't know, thinking about it now, whether there is actually any need to press the panic button as such. I just think it's too early to call. I mean, it took Daniel Farke 2 seasons to get a tune out of Norwich, didn't it? So, if they're going to go down this route, I think it's something where, I think you'd probably agree, where it's going to have to be a little bit more of a longer term project.
Yeah, but having said that, I heard Jack Reeves talking about the fact that we're in a better position now this time than Farke was the last season he brought us up. So, I think we got to keep things in perspective. It is early days. There's a lot of wobbles for a lot of teams. Middlesbrough seem to be pretty solid, but aside from that, there's a lot of teams beating teams that that we're ahead of them or whatever. So, we know what the Championship is like. It's one of the toughest leagues in the world. So.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it's interesting. You mentioned Middlesbrough because they didn't make many changes over the summer, I don't think, other than the managerial change, obviously. But Rob Edwards knows the league. He's got Luton out of it. I think there might be a little bit of a honeymoon period there at the moment. And fair play to them. If they go throughout the whole season and continue what they're doing, they'll be in the Premier League. But I just think with Middlesbrough, there'll be a point where, and it happened at Luton, where he just gets found out, and they'll start dropping down, and it'll be the clubs like, perhaps not Sheffield United because they're having an absolute wobble at the moment, but the clubs that have come down from the Premier League that are going to find their feet quite quickly and start motoring through.
Yeah, but even what you mentioned about Sheffield United, if you look back to Coventry, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Like where they were, remember they hadn't got a ground and their issues weren't playing matches and stuff. Like they were right down the bottom, and then they came right up. So it's possible for any team, irrespective of where they sit now, if they get a run together to really shift, and that can go either way. So obviously we've got to try and stop the rot at home somehow, and probably tomorrow is maybe not the ideal opponents to be doing that with.
No, and I think, if we probably move on to that now, then to the game tomorrow, I think I'd take a draw now, if I'm honest. I think that when you talk about stopping the rot, I think that sort of result where you just get a draw, steady the ship a little bit and then push on to the following home game. Or do you think a draw isn't good enough for Norwich fans? Do you think we need to see a win? And
I mean, I'd love to see a win. I think a win would really lift the Carrow Road faithful spirits as well as the team. But like you, I think a draw wouldn't be the end of the world. To be honest with you, if we have to take in the next two matches one loss and one win, I'd rather lose tomorrow and win on Sunday. So, but I think if we were to lose 5 in a row, I think it'll really cause a lot of extra pressure on the team players, and I think that a lot of people will be on their backs. So I think I really hope that we do get some sort of a result tomorrow.
I'm not travelling tomorrow. I'm unfortunately working, so I can't. I'm only unable to get up, but I'll be watching it on TV. I think it's on Sky Plus. But I'm with you. I think it's bad for the fans that live in Norwich. That go in week out. That, as you said earlier, don't necessarily be able to get to go to away games. But equally, people like yourself that come from very far away, people like myself that are 2 hours away. It's that drive every week, and you go, well, we haven't seen him win all season. I think it's sometimes you kind of lose a bit of enthusiasm, I think.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, and I know I wouldn't feel sorry for them one bit, but as you know, we've recorded an On the Road City episode with Ipswich.
Yeah,
like their fans have gone through what we went through last time we were in the Premier League, getting hammered every week.
Yeah,
and we might have enjoyed watching them getting battered. It's tough on the real football fans to see that it doesn't matter what colours you're supporting, to see your team lose week in, week out. It's not very pleasant.
No, exactly. So, I mean, how would you expect him to set up tomorrow? Would you think it'd be quite similar to the team that faced Stoke, or do you think there'll be some changes?
I think it'll be reasonably similar. He might just try out a couple of others. I mean, again, I think there will be one eye on the weekend, and obviously they'll be watching to make sure that some of our key players don't get injured. So I think they might watch the load with some of them. But I think a lot depends on. I think we start with a strong enough team. I think a lot depends how the game goes. If it's one-sided either way, then I think you might make some changes just to freshen things up a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know, for example, if Liam Gibbs will start. I think he did really well on Saturday, but I think he's got to be our secret weapon for Sunday.
100%. Yeah. You want him playing that sort of, more attacking midfield role, don't you? Trying to get the Ipswich back line. But
what I've seen of West Brom, they've done well. I mean, I think their natural place in the table is about fourth. I think they probably drop tonight with all the other teams that are playing. But it's been a bit hit and miss for them. They haven't been exceptional. They haven't been bad. They've been pretty solid and steady, which we haven't.
Yeah.
But they haven't wowed, I think, the league. I think they've lost twice. So they are beatable. I think, I'd watch. I mean, Isaac Price seems to be their top scorer at the moment. He's done very well for Northern Ireland as well. I don't think Rory McConville will be playing tomorrow to be able to stop his buddy from scoring. But I think he is definitely a threat for West Brom.
Yeah, I think again, what game was it that I saw where I watched Northern Ireland play? May have even been Germany, and he scored a fantastic goal right at the back post. I think it's from a corner, and he's just taking it first time on the volley.
Yeah.
And I was, then as I tend to do when I'm watching these home internationals, and I don't know what club that player's playing for, I do have a little Google, and it's West Brom player. So obviously, I know the name. I've seen him play. He is a fantastic footballer. I think West Brom are one of those clubs, aren't they, Killian, that probably in the same bracket as us, former Premier League side, haven't been in the Premier League for 4, 5, maybe 6 years.
Yeah.
You think this? I mean, obviously under the stewardship of Ryan Mason, his first proper gig, isn't it? Do you think they could do it this year?
It's very hard to tell. I mean, they'll be there or thereabouts. I can't see them being in the top two, but they'll be knocking on the door of playoffs, I would have thought, based on what I've seen so far. Now that I haven't kept a very close eye on them, but they're always a decent side. They play a decent brand of football.
Yeah.
And hopefully they have an off night tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope so. So let's hear your prediction then for tomorrow, and then we'll just plug you before we finish. We'll talk about your episode that's coming up tomorrow, but just give us your prediction for tomorrow night, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 2-2 all.
Oh, okay. Scorers.
Fraser. I think Sargent will get back on the score sheet, and I think McCann will score again.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm really worried about Sargent. Since he's gone away on international duty, he hasn't been the same player, and I don't know if that's linked to the transfer window or what, or our lack of creative force behind him. But his form is really concerning me.
Well, I mean, again, watching him closely at some of the games, especially at Stoke, like when he got the ball, he did really well with it. But being marked out of the game, everybody's putting all their focus on him. Which part of the role he can play is just to distract other teams away. Like everybody's afraid of him. There's not many players who can turn like he can.
Yeah.
And keep control of the ball. So he hasn't got a lot of service. And there's not much he can do if you're not getting the service. He's going to get a lot of attention from defenses. I don't know how strong the West Brom defense is. I mean, they've been fairly leaky. I think they've got a +1 goal difference for the season. So, as well as scoring goals, of letting goals. So if anybody can exploit that, it would be Sargent. So I think it's just a matter of time. But yeah, I mean, there's always, you look at patterns with, I think he came back after the World Cup the last time, or the European, or whatever, the American Cup or whatever it was he was in. Like he was really good for a while. So when he's come back from injuries, it sort of breaks the season. The momentum seems to go a bit.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? I think for me, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to go to 2. I think we'll concede, so I'm going to say 2-1, and I'm going to go with the same scorers. And Vlad's to be the hero at the end with there'll be a goal mouth scramble, and he'll just pluck it out the air, and that'll be that. Okay, so focusing on our episodes tomorrow. I say our episode, your episode on the Road City. Talk to us a little bit about that. I think it was you had a couple of Ipswich fans on, didn't you?
We did, yeah. I mean, myself and Nick had. I mean, it was a difficult one in the sense that we've got the format for On the Road City, which is really a guide to away locations for not just Norwich fans, for the football fans. There is no opportunity in Ipswich to explore that lovely town. I did hear somebody talk about 2 cities. They're not a city; they're a town. So
yeah.
They talked about the marina, which I have to admit is probably the only nice part of Ipswich I've seen. But we're going to get herded like sheep by the police, no matter where you come into. You're not going to see a whole lot. So we probably spent more time talking about the match and the teams and the build-up and stuff, as opposed to what it's like visiting Ipswich. Although we get some tips around parking and stuff like that, but it's interesting to see. They talk up a good game, but I think beneath all there's a lot of nerves there, as there are on the Norwich side. So I think it could be a very nervy match.
Yeah, I agree. I tend to agree. I think it's well, obviously, first and foremost, thank you for doing that for us, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that one go out tomorrow on the channel. But no, I think you're right. I think it's going to be again, we haven't played each other for a couple of years, have we? Because they made the promised land, and so they've got that added spice to it. Yeah, I think if they don't beat us this time, I don't think they ever will. If I'm honest, I
think I said that to them as well. So there was a bit of humour there as well. There's obviously a lot of rivalry, and
of course,
you don't need to do much to ramp up the tension. It's going to be a tense affair. But I think it's more likely to be a scrappy match than a one-sided domination by one team or the other.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, I don't want to obviously give too much away about the episode, so I think we'll probably but leave it there. But obviously, for everyone else watching, please do tune into that episode, which will be released tomorrow afternoon. Obviously, Killian, thanks for coming on last minute and having a little chat about the game tomorrow. I'm really, really looking forward to it, and safe travels.
Thank you.
And for everyone else watching, you can like and subscribe on this YouTube channel for more great content. Oh, actually, one thing we didn't do, Killian, wish Adi a happy birthday.
That's very true. So
yeah,
the Cootie Monster is celebrating a birthday today.
Yes, indeed.
What a legend. So happy birthday, Adi. Great to see you become a year older.
Yeah, absolutely.
That obviously reminds me, Jazz, that you're nearly one as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Should have talked about that as well, shouldn't we?
That's a big occasion. You've phenomenal. It's hard to believe it's only a year.
I honestly can't believe it. It's been absolutely superb. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for all your hard work, Killian, with it. It's but no, thanks to everyone for contributing as well. So I mean, we've got a special episode this Friday with me and Morgan went around the Bridewell Museum, which is the museum of Norwich, quite near to Gerald's. It's in the Bridewell alleys. Phenomenal location. Some really good work they do there as well. But we had a good chat about the podcast, and we will also share some of the messages from our previous guests and contributors. Sorry. So yeah, no, thanks for mentioning that, Killian, because I completely forgot.
Birthday celebrations all around this week.
I hope so, and 6 points to go alongside it. As I was saying, so yeah, obviously like and subscribe for more great content, and we are also on Instagram, Facebook, and X. If you are on any of those platforms, please give us a review, give us a follow. We are also proudly supported by Master Steel and Pie Design. I've been Jez Davies.
And I've been Killian O'Grady.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening and enjoy the game tomorrow. Bye. That's all for this episode of Beyond the Barclay. Thanks for listening and supporting the podcast. If you enjoyed it, be sure to follow, leave a review, and share it with fellow Norwich City fans. We'll be back soon with more insight and discussion from around Carrow Road. Until then, on the Ball City.